The quantum resonance chamber hummed with an otherworldly intensity, its crystalline walls pulsing with an energy that defied conventional physics. Jack Thompson watched the holographic displays, his breath caught between excitement and terror. 17 years of work had led to this moment, a moment that could either validate humanity's most audacious technological gamble or reduce years of research to a spectacular failure. Around him, the underground facility sprawled like a technological cathedral. Buried 3 kilometers beneath the Colorado Rocky Mountains, the research complex was a testament to human paranoia and ingenuity. No satellite could penetrate its depths. No communication could leak without explicit authorization. Here, humanity was writing its insurance policy against galactic extinction. Quantum entanglement stabilization at 97.3%, called out Dr. Marcus Reynolds, the team's lead quantum physicist. His fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, each movement precise and calculated. Structural integrity of the quantum matrix is holding. Jack nodded, his eyes never leaving the central display. The prototype drive looked nothing like the rocket engines of the past. It was a sleek, almost organic structure, a blend of advanced ceramics, quantum reactive materials, and computational systems that made modern supercomputers look like elementary school calculators. The story of this moment began decades ago, in the aftermath of humanity's first confirmed alien contact. It wasn't the Hollywood-style invasion everyone had imagined. Instead, it was a diplomatic disaster. The Galactic hegemony's first envoys had treated humans like primitive children, condescending and dismissive. They saw Earth as a potential resource to be cataloged, perhaps eventually colonized. What those alien diplomats didn't understand was the fundamental nature of human resilience. Every dismissive comment, every patronizing statement became fuel for a global project so secret that less than 500 people on the entire planet knew its full scope. Quantum tunnel formation initiating, Marcus announced, his voice tight with anticipation. The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. Quantum dampening fields activated, isolating the experiment from any potential external interference. Jack could feel the hair on his arms standing on end, a physical manifestation of the extraordinary energies being manipulated. Their goal was deceptively simple yet impossibly complex: create a faster-than-light drive that left no detectable signature. Most alien civilizations believed FTL travel required massive energy expenditures, leaving behind radiation, gravitational distortions, and other telltale signs that could be tracked across light years. Humanity was about to prove them wrong. The prototype wasn't just a drive. It was a statement, a declaration that humans were not to be underestimated. Initiating quantum coherence, Marcus called out. A series of fail-safes clicked into place. If anything went wrong, the entire chamber could be instantly vaporized, erasing all evidence of the experiment. Jack remembered the meetings that had led to this moment, classified gatherings where military strategists, theoretical physicists, and government officials had mapped out humanity's long-term survival strategy. They had recognized a fundamental truth. In a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations, being overlooked might be humanity's greatest advantage. The prototype began to vibrate, a low-frequency hum that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time. Holographic displays showed impossible readings, quantum states shifting, probability matrices collapsing and reforming in patterns that would make traditional physicists weep. Quantum tunnel stable, Marcus whispered, almost in disbelief. On the central display, a small probe began to change, not moving in any traditional sense, but simply existing in multiple locations simultaneously. It didn't travel through space so much as it rewrote the fundamental rules of spatial perception. Jack allowed himself a small smile. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was humanity's insurance policy against extinction. Probe telemetry is nominal. A YUM technician reported. No detectable energy signature. No radiation. No gravitational distortion. The room fell silent. They had done it. They had created a faster-than-light drive that was, for all intents and purposes, undetectable. Outside the facility, the world continued to spin, completely unaware that everything was about to change. Humanity had just written the first line of a new chapter in galactic history, and the galactic hegemony would never see it coming. The U.S. horizon looked like a relic from humanity's early space exploration days. Its hull bore the marks of countless cargo runs, with patched sections and outdated communication arrays that screamed obsolete to any passing observer. Captain Emily Rodriguez knew exactly what she was doing. Incoming transmission. Lieutenant Derek Hamilton called from the communications station. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the massive form of a Zortak exploration vessel. Its sleek, predatory design contrasted sharply with the seemingly decrepit human ship. The alien communication crackled with barely contained contempt. Unidentified human vessel, prepare for standard interstellar inspection protocol. Your navigation vectors indicate proximity to restricted hegemony space. Emily's fingers danced across her command console, activating a series of meticulously designed systems that would appear completely mundane to any external observer. What looked like routine system checks were actually advanced data collection protocols, each movement carefully calculated to gather maximum intelligence while appearing utterly routine. The Zortak were known throughout the galaxy for their technological superiority. Standing almost 3 meters tall, with exoskeletal armor that doubled as a living communication network, they viewed most species as little more than primitive curiosities. Their exploration vessels were technological marvels, quantum scanners that could detect the most minute energy signatures, communication systems that could intercept transmissions across multiple star systems. What they didn't know was that the U.S. horizon was anything but a simple cargo ship. Acknowledged hegemony vessel, Emily responded, her voice calm and professional. We're a standard merchant vessel conducting routine supply runs in the Outer Rim territories. The Zortak inspection team began their scans. Sophisticated quantum penetration waves swept across the horizon's hull, designed to reveal every hidden compartment, every piece of technological infrastructure. To any conventional scanning system, the ship would appear exactly as it presented itself, a worn-out merchant vessel with minimal defensive capabilities. But nothing was as it seemed. Beneath the ship's seemingly antiquated exterior, a complex network of adaptive camouflage systems came to life. Each scan was not just deflected but actively manipulated. Where the Zortak expected to find outdated engineering systems, they would see exactly that. Where they might probe for hidden weapon systems, they would find nothing but outdated cargo management equipment. Lieutenant Hamilton suppressed a smile. The entire ship was a meticulously designed piece of intelligence-gathering hardware. Every system, every panel, every seemingly random piece of equipment was part of a massive data collection apparatus. The Zortak lead inspector, a high-ranking officer named Krushak, transmitted his initial assessment. His translator systems rendered his native language into a condescending human dialect. Primitive human vessel confirmed. Standard cargo transport capabilities. Minimal technological infrastructure detected. Emily's team worked with practiced precision. Quantum encrypted data streams captured every nuance of the Zortak scanning process. Their communication protocols, their scanning frequencies, the subtle energy signatures of their advanced technologies. Everything was being recorded and analyzed. This wasn't just a routine inspection. This was humanity's first comprehensive intelligence-gathering mission against the galactic hegemony. The inspection lasted 3 hours, 47 minutes, and 16 seconds. To any external observer, it was a mundane encounter between a technologically superior species and a seemingly insignificant human merchant vessel. But deep within the ship's hidden data cores, terabytes of critical information were being compiled. Scanning frequencies, communication protocols, quantum signature analyses, a comprehensive blueprint of hegemony technological capabilities was being assembled with surgical precision. Inspection complete, the Zortak communication system announced. Vessel cleared for standard trade routes. Maintain approved navigation corridors. As the massive alien vessel began to pull away, Emily allowed herself the briefest moment of satisfaction. They had not just survived an encounter with the most technologically advanced civilization in known space. They had turned that encounter into a comprehensive intelligence-gathering operation. The Zortak believed they had conducted a routine inspection of a primitive human vessel. In reality, they had just become unwitting participants in humanity's most ambitious intelligence-gathering mission. The U.S. Horizon continued its seemingly random course through the star system, looking for all the world like just another insignificant cargo ship. Nothing about its trajectory or appearance would suggest the technological marvel that lurked just beneath its carefully maintained facade. Humanity was watching, and the galaxy had no idea. The United Nations Special Committee on Extraterrestrial Relations occupied a nondescript building in Geneva. From the outside, it looked like any other government facility. Inside, it was the most secure intelligence hub on the planet, a nerve center where humanity's most critical strategic decisions were made. General Robert Williams stood before a holographic display of galactic territorial claims. Red zones marked hegemony-controlled space, expanding like a cancer across star charts. Each new claim was another provocation, another subtle threat against emerging civilizations. "They're testing our boundaries," Williams muttered to Catherine Martinez, the committee's chief diplomatic strategist. Her fingers traced the expanding hegemony borders, each movement calculated and precise. The latest diplomatic communication from the galactic hegemony was a masterpiece of bureaucratic intimidation. Buried within layers of legal jargon were thinly veiled threats against human-controlled star systems. They demanded access to resource-rich areas near human space, using language that suggested cooperation was merely a formality. What the hegemony didn't understand was that every communication was being dissected with surgical precision. Dr. Alexander Chen, the committee's lead xenolinguistic analyst, had spent months breaking down the subtle nuances of hegemony diplomatic language. "It's not just a demand," he explained to the assembled strategists. "It's a calculated psychological test. They're probing our response mechanisms, trying to understand how we react to territorial pressure." The room was filled with some of humanity's brightest minds. Military strategists, quantum physicists, diplomatic experts, all united by a single purpose. They weren't just preparing a defense. They were setting a trap. Each provocative communication from the hegemony was carefully analyzed, not just for its immediate content, but for the underlying technological and strategic information it might reveal. Communication frequencies, encryption methods, subtle tells in their diplomatic algorithms. Everything was a potential source of intelligence. "They believe we're predictable," Catherine said, pulling up a series of diplomatic exchanges. "Look at the pattern. Each communication is designed to elicit a specific response. They've categorized human civilizations based on previous interactions with other species." A holographic display shifted, showing a complex network of alien diplomatic profiles. Humanity was currently classified in the lowest tier. An emerging civilization, technologically primitive, likely to be easily manipulated or conquered. General Williams allowed himself a small, knowing smile. They had no idea what was coming. The strategy was multilayered. On the surface, humanity would appear to be a typical emerging civilization, cautious, slightly fearful, but ultimately cooperative. Behind the scenes, every interaction was building a comprehensive understanding of hegemony communication and military protocols. Dr. Chen pulled up a linguistic analysis that made the room go silent. "Watch this," he said, highlighting subtle patterns in the hegemony's diplomatic language. They use specific grammatical structures when they believe a species is unlikely to resist. Notice how the verb conjugations change when they're addressing what they consider lower-tier civilizations. It was more than just linguistics. It was a window into the hegemony's fundamental psychological approach to interstellar diplomacy. "We're collecting more than just data," General Williams explained. "We're building a comprehensive psychological profile of the entire hegemony leadership structure." Every communication is a piece of a much larger puzzle. The committee had been preparing for this moment for decades. The quantum drive technology developed in the Colorado underground facility was just one piece of a much larger strategy. Intelligence gathering, technological development, psychological warfare. Everything was interconnected. Catherine pulled up the latest territorial claim map. "They're moving faster than we anticipated," she noted. 3 new star systems had been marked for hegemony expansion, with human-adjacent territories clearly in their crosshairs. "Let them think they're in control," General Williams responded. "Every step they take is another step into our trap." Outside the secure facility, the world continued to spin. Billions of humans went about their daily lives, completely unaware of the high-stakes game being played at the edges of human-controlled space. The Galactic hegemony believed they were conducting a routine territorial expansion. In reality, they were walking directly into humanity's most elaborate intelligence-gathering operation in history. And they had no idea what was coming. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter held humanity's most carefully guarded secret. What appeared to be a collection of unremarkable mining and research stations was actually the most advanced shipyard in human history. 50 warships waited in quantum-shielded dry docks, each a masterpiece of engineering that would redefine the concept of space warfare. Lieutenant Kyle Martinez walked the length of the lead ship, the U.S. Prometheus. His hand traced the adaptive ceramic hull, feeling the subtle vibrations of technologies that would make most alien civilizations weep with technological jealousy. Each panel, each system was a testament to human innovation, a middle finger to every species that had ever underestimated humanity. The ship's quantum drive was nothing like traditional faster-than-light propulsion, where other civilizations relied on massive energy expenditures and detectable radiation signatures. The Prometheus could literally fold space around itself. It didn't move through space so much as it convinced space to move around it. "Final systems check," called out Chief Engineer Sarah Thompson from the Central Engineering Bay. Her team represented the absolute pinnacle of human technological achievement. Young, brilliant, and utterly dedicated to a project that most of the world would never know existed. Each ship in the fleet was a unique marvel. The U.S. Prometheus was designed as the command vessel, with adaptive quantum communication systems that could not only remain undetected, but could also actively manipulate enemy communication networks. Its sister ships specialized in different technological approaches. Some focused on absolute stealth, others on unprecedented offensive capabilities. The adaptive camouflage systems were particularly impressive. Using a combination of quantum metamaterials and advanced holographic projection, these ships could appear as anything from space debris to standard merchant vessels. They could even mimic the energy signatures of known alien ship designs, becoming invisible through misdirection. "Quantum entanglement communication network is stable," reported Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez from the communication station. "We can maintain real-time coordination across multiple star systems without any detectable transmission signature." This was more than just a fleet. This was humanity's insurance policy against galactic extinction. The story of these ships began decades ago, in classified research facilities around the world. Each technological breakthrough had been carefully cultivated, each advancement meticulously hidden from the galactic hegemony's watchful eyes. The ships represented the culmination of humanity's most ambitious technological dreams. Weapon systems defied conventional understanding. Adaptive quantum shields could not only block incoming attacks, but could potentially redirect energy in ways that would seem like magic to less advanced civilizations. Offensive capabilities included precision quantum disruption systems that could disable entire enemy fleets without firing a single traditional weapon. Chief Thompson pulled up a holographic display of the ship's quantum drive. "Look at this," she said to Lieutenant Martinez. The display showed how the drive could manipulate local spacetime, creating micro-wormholes that allowed instantaneous transportation without the massive energy expenditures other civilizations required. "We're not just building a fleet," she explained. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of space travel." Each ship contained multiple layers of technological redundancy. If one system failed, others would immediately compensate. Quantum-encrypted data cores could survive conditions that would obliterate traditional computer systems. The ships were living, thinking entities, more advanced than most alien artificial intelligence systems. The dry dock itself was a marvel of engineering. Quantum dampening fields prevented any external detection. Adaptive camouflage made the entire facility look like nothing more than a standard asteroid mining operation. Thousands of specialized workers moved about their tasks, each one carefully vetted and committed to humanity's most ambitious project. Lieutenant Martinez remembered the briefings. The Galactic hegemony saw humanity as a potential resource, a civilization to be cataloged and eventually controlled. They had no idea what was coming. Final pre-deployment diagnostic complete, announced the ship's central AI system. Its voice was calm, almost casual, betraying none of the revolutionary potential contained within the ship's systems. The U.S. Prometheus hummed with potential energy. 50 ships stood ready, each one a technological marvel that would soon change the course of galactic history. Humanity was no longer watching. Humanity was preparing to strike. The hegemony's invasion fleet assembled with the confidence of a predator certain of its victory. 50 massive warships, each the size of a small city, moved with mechanical precision through the Orion sector. Their target, a cluster of human-adjacent star systems that would serve as a strategic foothold for further expansion. Admiral Krishak stood on the bridge of the flagship Dominance, his exoskeletal armor reflecting the holographic displays that tracked their impending conquest. Preliminary intelligence suggested a swift, almost bloodless operation. The human colonies would be categorized, processed, and integrated into the hegemony's vast territorial network. Quantum scanning arrays at maximum sensitivity, reported the ship's primary navigation officer. No significant defensive capabilities detected in target sectors. What the hegemony didn't know was that they were sailing into a carefully prepared trap. The first indication that something was wrong came as a quantum anomaly. Not a weapon fire, not a traditional energy signature, but a fundamental disruption of space-time itself. The Dominance's quantum sensors flickered, a microsecond of uncertainty that had never happened in the fleet's entire history. Then everything changed. The U.S. Prometheus and its accompanying fleet emerged simultaneously across multiple star systems. They didn't approach traditionally. They simply existed, appearing with such precision that it seemed like reality itself had been rewritten. Quantum disruption fields activated first. These were not weapons in any traditional sense. They were fundamental reality manipulation technologies that the hegemony had never conceived possible. Communication networks collapsed. Quantum encryption systems that had been unbreakable for millennia became meaningless strings of random data. Impossible, Krishak muttered as the first wave of defensive systems simply ceased to exist. Each human ship was a technological singularity. Where traditional warfare involved energy weapons and physical projectiles, these ships manipulated fundamental quantum states. Entire battleship sections didn't explode. They simply stopped existing, their molecular structures systematically dismantled at a quantum level. The attack was so precise, so overwhelming, that it defied the hegemony's entire understanding of warfare. Lieutenant Kyle Martinez coordinated the assault from the Prometheus's bridge. Every movement was calculated, every quantum disruption field precisely targeted. They weren't just destroying ships, they were systematically dismantling the hegemony's entire strategic infrastructure. Communication relays vanished. Quantum navigation systems became meaningless. The hegemony's faster-than-light communication network, once considered the most secure in the galaxy, became a cascade of quantum noise. Target sectors neutralized, reported the Prometheus's AI system. Its voice was calm, almost clinical. Within 3 standard galactic hours, the entire invasion fleet had been completely disabled. Not destroyed, disabled. The ships remained mostly intact, their crews alive, but every single technological system had been rendered completely inoperable. It was a message, a demonstration. Humanity was not asking for permission to exist. Humanity was declaring its presence. Admiral Krishak stared in disbelief at the holographic displays. Entire battle groups had been neutralized without a single traditional weapon being fired. No energy signatures, no radiation, no detectable weapon trajectories. The human ships didn't just appear and attack. They rewrote the fundamental rules of spatial engagement. Quantum communication channels, previously believed to be secure and instantaneous, became a conduit for humanity's message. Precise, mathematically perfect data streams began broadcasting across hegemony communication networks. They weren't just attacking. They were demonstrating technological superiority in its purest form. The broadcasts contained something unprecedented, detailed scientific principles that completely rewrote understood physics. Quantum mechanics, space-time manipulation, communication technologies that made the hegemony's most advanced systems look like primitive radio equipment. It wasn't just an attack. It was an intellectual revolution. As quickly as they had appeared, the human ships began to vanish. Not retreat, not escape. Simply cease to exist in conventional space, leaving behind nothing but quantum uncertainty and a fundamental challenge to everything the hegemony understood about warfare, technology, and the nature of existence itself. The galactic hegemony had come to conquer. Humanity had come to redefine the very concept of conflict. The Global Science Consortium's primary broadcast center looked deceptively simple, a circular building nestled in the Swiss Alps. Its exterior gave no hint of the technological revolution about to be unleashed upon the galaxy. Dr. William Parker stood before a bank of quantum communication arrays, his hands steady, his eyes reflecting a mixture of scientific excitement and strategic determination. Behind him, a team of humanity's most brilliant minds prepared to do something unprecedented in galactic history. They were going to give away their most advanced technological secrets. But not as a gift. As a challenge. Quantum communication network is stable, reported Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Hegemony communication bands are completely open following our initial strike. The broadcast would be precise, mathematical, and utterly devastating. It wasn't just a demonstration of technological capability. It was a complete intellectual broadside that would force every advanced civilization in the galaxy to reconsider everything they thought they knew about physics, communication, and the fundamental nature of reality. The first transmission contained a complete breakdown of quantum entanglement principles that made the hegemony's most advanced communication technologies look like smoke signals. Detailed mathematical proofs showed how information could be transmitted instantaneously across unlimited distances without any energy expenditure. "We're not just sharing technology," Dr. Parker explained to the assembled team. "We're fundamentally challenging their entire scientific paradigm." Each data stream was a work of art. Compressed information that would take alien scientific teams decades to fully comprehend, delivered with mathematical precision. Quantum mechanics principles that rewrote fundamental understanding of spacetime. Communication technologies that made instantaneous, undetectable information transfer not just possible, but trivial. The hegemony's top scientific minds would be overwhelmed, not just by the technology, but by the audacity of the presentation. Embedded within the scientific data were subtle psychological triggers, linguistic patterns designed to challenge the most fundamental assumptions of alien scientific thinking. Each equation was a sword, each proof a strategic weapon more potent than any physical missile. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up a holographic display showing the transmission's reach. "We're broadcasting across multiple communication bands," she reported. "Every advanced civilization in the local galactic cluster will receive these transmissions simultaneously." It was more than a technological demonstration. It was humanity's declaration of intellectual sovereignty. The scientific principles revealed would invalidate centuries of established alien research, faster-than-light communication theories, quantum mechanics interpretations, fundamental understanding of energy transfer and information propagation. They'll spend decades just trying to verify our initial findings, Dr. Parker said, a rare smile crossing his face. And every attempt to disprove our work will only further validate our technological superiority. The broadcast contained something even more revolutionary: detailed schematics for quantum drive technologies that made traditional faster-than-light travel look like primitive rocket science. Not just how the drives worked, but the fundamental mathematical principles that made them possible. It was an intellectual gauntlet thrown down at the feet of every advanced civilization in the galaxy. Each transmission was encrypted with multiple layers of quantum security. Even as alien scientific teams would attempt to study the data, they would find themselves confronted with additional layers of complexity. Mathematical puzzles embedded within mathematical proofs. We're not just sharing technology, Dr. Rodriguez noted. We're creating an intellectual challenge that will consume the best minds in the galaxy. The global scientific team had spent decades preparing for this moment. Every principle, every equation had been carefully curated. This wasn't a random data dump. This was a precisely calculated intellectual assault. As the transmissions began to propagate across galactic communication networks, the first responses started to filter back. Confusion, disbelief, a dawning realization that everything they thought they understood about physics was about to change. Alien scientific institutions would be thrown into chaos. Research programs would be disrupted. Entire fields of study would be forced to reconsider their most basic assumptions. Humanity wasn't just entering the galactic stage. They were rewriting the rules of engagement. The broadcast continued, a mathematical symphony of human innovation. Each second another layer of technological mystery was revealed. Another fundamental truth challenged. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council chambers on Centauri Prime had never experienced such absolute chaos. Holographic displays flickered with transmission data from humanity's unprecedented scientific broadcast, while representatives from over 200 advanced civilizations struggled to comprehend the implications. Admiral Sarah Thompson stood at the center of the diplomatic storm, her presence both a challenge and a statement. She wore a simple uniform that betrayed nothing of the technological marvel humanity had just demonstrated. Behind her, a small delegation of human representatives remained calm, a stark contrast to the panicked alien diplomats surrounding them. "This is impossible," proclaimed Artok, the Zortak primary diplomatic representative, his exoskeletal armor shifting with agitation. A species classified as a Tier 3 emerging civilization cannot possess such advanced technologies. The broadcast had done more than reveal scientific principles. It had completely dismantled the hegemony's hierarchical classification system of galactic civilizations. Humanity had not just entered the galactic stage. They had rewritten the entire performance. Diplomatic communication channels across the galaxy were in complete disarray. The carefully maintained power structures that had existed for millennia were crumbling in real time. Civilizations that had spent centuries developing faster-than-light communication technologies found themselves obsolete, their most advanced research reduced to primitive approximations. "Humanity demands nothing," Sarah Thompson stated coldly. "We are simply presenting scientific fact." The presentation was a masterpiece of strategic communication. Each scientific principle was accompanied by verifiable proof, mathematical demonstrations that left no room for doubt. The quantum communication technologies alone would revolutionize every aspect of galactic communication. Representatives from the Quantum Research Consortium of Proxima Centauri were the first to break the silence. These principles, their lead scientists stammered, they're not just advanced, they're fundamentally transformative. What humanity had done was more than a technological revelation. It was a complete dismantling of the existing galactic power structure. The hegemony's classification system had always been built on a simple principle: technological capability equals political power. Emerging civilizations were monitored, controlled, often subjugated. Humanity had just demonstrated that those rules no longer applied. Diplomatic channels from hundreds of alien civilizations began flooding the communication networks. Some sought alliance, some demanded explanation. Some tried desperately to discredit the scientific principles, a futile effort that only further demonstrated humanity's intellectual superiority. "We have not come to conquer," Sarah continued, her voice precise and controlled. "We have come to challenge, to demonstrate that technological innovation is not the exclusive domain of established civilizations." The most profound shock came from the scientific implications. The quantum communication principles humanity had shared didn't just improve existing technologies, they rendered most existing technologies completely obsolete. Faster-than-light communication that left no detectable energy signature. Information transfer that happened instantaneously across unlimited distances. Alien scientific institutions would spend decades, perhaps centuries, unraveling the principles humanity had so casually revealed. The Galactic Council's internal communication networks became a maelstrom of panic and confusion. Diplomatic protocols that had existed for millennia were being rewritten in real time. The carefully maintained illusion of galactic hierarchy was crumbling. "Humanity represents a fundamental threat to the existing galactic order," muttered the Centauri diplomatic coordinator. The statement was both an observation and a warning. But humanity had anticipated this reaction. The scientific broadcast was not just a revelation, it was a carefully designed diplomatic weapon. Each principle, each mathematical proof was constructed to demonstrate capability without showing every card in their hand. Scattered throughout the detailed scientific data were subtle diplomatic messages. Humanity, the diplomatic chambers fell silent. Hundreds of alien representatives stared at the small human delegation, no longer seeing primitives, but witnessing the birth of a new galactic power. Humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The United Nations Extraterrestrial Affairs Complex stood as a testament to humanity's transformation. Located in the heart of Geneva, the building was an architectural marvel that blended cutting-edge design with a deliberate sense of openness. Large quantum glass windows looked out over the city, symbolizing humanity's new transparent approach to galactic relations. General Robert Williams sat in the central strategy room, reviewing the cascade of diplomatic and scientific communications that had flooded in since humanity's technological revelation. The galaxy was fundamentally changed, and they were at the center of that change. 57 separate civilization representatives have requested diplomatic meetings, reported Catherine Martinez, leafing through holographic diplomatic files. The Quantum Research Consortium of Proxima Centauri has already proposed 3 joint research initiatives. The Hidden Fleet remained humanity's ultimate insurance policy. 50 advanced warships, capable of dismantling entire invasion forces without firing a single traditional weapon, waited in their quantum-shielded dry docks. They were no longer just a defensive measure. They were a statement of humanity's capabilities. But this wasn't about conquest. This was about survival. About establishing a new paradigm of galactic interaction. The scientific broadcast had done more than reveal technological capabilities. It had fundamentally challenged the existing galactic power structures. Civilizations that had dominated interstellar politics for millennia found themselves suddenly obsolete, their technological superiority stripped away by a species they had previously dismissed. "We're receiving requests for technology exchanges," Catherine continued, "but not demands. Requests." The difference was profound. For the first time in galactic history, an emerging civilization was dictating the terms of its engagement with established powers. Dr. William Parker entered the room, carrying a comprehensive analysis of the scientific and diplomatic responses. "The quantum communication principles alone have revolutionized communication technologies across multiple civilizations," he reported. "We've effectively reset the technological playing field." Embedded within the scientific principles were subtle diplomatic safeguards. The technologies shared were transformative, but not complete. Enough to challenge existing systems, but not enough to completely destabilize galactic infrastructure. It was a carefully calculated intellectual intervention. The galactic hegemony's response had been particularly interesting. Rather than military retaliation, they had approached with a mixture of fear and scientific curiosity. Their entire classification system of civilizations had been dismantled in a single broadcast. "We're not just a species anymore," General Williams observed. "We're a technological and intellectual force that cannot be ignored." Diplomatic missions began to arrive from across the galaxy. Not as conquering forces, but as genuine representatives seeking understanding. The small blue planet that had once been considered a backwater was now the most discussed civilization in known space. The hidden fleet remained their ultimate guarantee. Those 50 ships represented more than military capability. They were a promise, a statement that humanity would never again be viewed as a potential resource to be exploited. Dr. Elena Rodriguez presented a comprehensive analysis of the technological exchanges. "We're not just sharing technology," she explained. "We're establishing a new model of scientific and diplomatic interaction. Collaborative, transparent, but always on our terms." Humanity had discovered something profound in its preparation. True strength wasn't about overwhelming force. It was about strategic capability, about the ability to fundamentally change the conversation. The quantum communication technologies continued to propagate. Scientific institutions across multiple civilizations were being forced to completely redesign their understanding of physics, of communication, of the fundamental nature of information transfer. "We're offering a different path," Catherine said, reviewing the diplomatic communications. "Not conquest, not subjugation, collaboration." But it was a collaboration with very clear boundaries. Humanity would not be controlled. Humanity would not be dismissed. The first wave of selective technology exchanges began. Carefully curated scientific principles that would benefit multiple civilizations while protecting humanity's most advanced capabilities. It was diplomacy as an art form, precise, calculated, transformative. Outside the complex, the world continued to spin. Most humans remained unaware of the profound changes happening behind the scenes. They went about their daily lives, unaware that their species had just fundamentally altered the galactic landscape. The hidden fleet waited. The scientific principles continued to propagate. Humanity had arrived. And the galaxy would never be the same.